Welcome all. In today's class, we will discuss about reverse breakdown in a PN junction. So, what do I mean by reverse breakdown? So, we have found that a PN junction biased in the reverse direction exhibits a small, essentially voltage independent saturation current. So, in the last class, we have seen under reverse bias, what will happen? Reverse bias means P side of a PN junction is connected to negative terminal of the battery and N side is connected to positive terminal of the battery. So the holes in the P region and electrons in the N region will be attracted by the external circuit, so the depletion width will increase. So it is not possible to have a diffusion current in this case because there is no movement of majority carriers, or there is no chance of holes moving from the P to N or electrons from N to P. So there is no current due to diffusion process. But still there will be some small amount of minority charge carriers in the PN junction. So the recombination is possible and a small amount of drift current is present. And we have seen also that this drift current is not depending on the externally applied voltage. So this is merely depending on the number of electron hole pairs or minority charge carriers generated in the PN junction or in the PN type, P type and N type semiconductor. So we have seen during reverse bias condition there will be only a small current. It is essentially voltage independent. It is not depending upon the external voltage and it is a saturation current. This is true until a critical breakdown reverse bias is reached. So we have told that there will be a small amount of current in microampere or nanoampere range. Small amount of current will be present, but this current will be present only until a point that is known as breakdown point. So the reverse bias voltage, when it reaches a breakdown voltage, what will happen? There will be a sudden rise in current in a PN junction. So this critical breakdown reverse bias, when a critical breakdown reverse bias is reached, for which reverse breakdown occurs, at that voltage reverse breakdown occurs. So you can see in the graph, this is the VI characteristics of a PN junction. So forward current, during forward biasing, forward current which is exponentially growing current, we have seen those all things. Under reverse bias condition there will be a very small amount of current, that is due to the minority charge carriers or generation current or drift current. But when the reverse bias reaches a particular value known as VBR, means reverse breakdown voltage, there will be a sudden increase in the current, or the curve will be becoming a right angle. There will be a sudden increase in current. So this particular voltage at which there will be a sudden rise in current, this voltage is known as breakdown voltage or reverse breakdown voltage. So at this critical voltage VBR, the reverse current through the diode increases sharply. Relatively large current can flow with little further increase in voltage. Only with a slight increase in reverse bias voltage only this sharp increase in current will happen. So when this PN junction is under reverse bias, we will normally connect one external resistance R. This R resistance is known as current limiting resistance. So this resistance R will help in controlling the PN junction without damaging. So it will be the limiting the amount of current flowing through the junction. So we can tell this reverse current can be written as I is equal to, reverse current can be written as I is equal to E minus VBR by this externally connected resistance R, where E is the electric field E or potential V, or what we are telling, that one, and VBR is the reverse bias voltage, and R is the externally connected resistance. So this is from the, this E is this potential what we have given, I is equal to E minus VBR divided by R. That is the value of current, reverse saturation current. Okay, so in reverse bias what all things will happen? Once again we will rewind that. Under reverse bias, things happening are, the electron will be drawn towards the terminal of N side and holes will be drawn towards the terminal P side. So this is our PN junction. In P and N, reverse bias means P is connected to negative N is connected to positive. So holes in the p region will be attracted towards the negative terminal, and electrons in the n terminal will be attracted towards the positive terminal. So electron will be drawn towards the terminal of n side, and holes will be drawn towards the terminal of p side. At this condition, electron hole recombination will not happen, and hence minority carrier moment is, this is majority carrier moment is absent. This is not minority, this is majority carrier moment is absent. The depletion width increases. Because of that, depletion width increases. So width of the depletion region increases. Depletion width block majority carrier current, and only minority carrier current flows. Only current due to minority carriers will be present during reverse bias, and thus this current is known as reverse saturation current. If reverse voltage is large, the depletion region break down. If this reverse voltage which we are giving VBR or anything VR, simply VR, if it is very large, then the depletion region breakdown will happen. So in order to protect the PN junction from damaging, we are connecting an external resistance with the circuit. So there are two types of breakdown mechanism happen in a PN junction. They are Zener breakdown and avalanche breakdown. So at low voltage, low reverse bias, some few volt, Zener breakdown will happen, and at higher voltages like some few volt to 1000 volts, that much range, avalanche breakdown happens. So if I am drawing the VI characteristics, VI, this is the forward bias cara, and reverse bias like this will happen. At small voltages, Zener breakdown will happen, and at high voltages, avalanche breakdown will happen. So we will explain this one by one now. So the first type of breakdown is Zener breakdown. So things to be remembered, Zener breakdown will happen at certain low reverse bias voltages, and second one, it will happen for heavily doped PN junction. Heavily doped PN junction means what? The donor and acceptor concentration, P and N region concentration will be very high. So for a highly doped PN junction, it will happen. For a highly doped PN junction, one parameter is there, its depletion region will be narrow. Normally its depletion region will be very narrow for a highly doped PN junction. So for heavily doped PN junction with narrow depletion region, Zener breakdown happens. So what will happen? When reverse bias is applied, the electric field strength will increase. That we have seen. The depletion region width will be increasing. So the electric field, positive and number of positive and negative charges will be more. So the electric field strength will be more under reverse bias condition. So what will happen? Due to this, pulls the electrons from valence band of p side. Hence, electron hole pairs are formed across the depletion region. Large number of minority carriers will be generated at the depletion region. At this point, a small increase in voltage, a small increase in reverse voltage will cause large current. Current direction is from N to P side. These are the points to be remembered under Zener breakdown. So I'll explain it. So listen here. So this is our conduction band at the P side and valence band at the P side. So due to this narrow depletion region, what will happen? The band bending will be abrupt, or there will be a sharp slope in the band. So what will be the condition? The conduction band of the N side and the valence band of the P side will be nearly opposite to each other. Okay. So electron tunneling, a process known as electron tunneling will be happening. So in the valence band of this P region, there will be some electrons present, which are the minority charge carriers in the P. This is the P. So there will be some heavily doped p-n junction. So certain minority charge carriers, which are the electrons, minority charge carriers which are the electrons, will be present in the covalent bonding of the p-type semiconductor. Some electrons are present in the valence band. So here in the conduction band we have many vacant spaces, right? We have many vacant spaces in the conduction band. So since these two bands are very near, the electrons in the valence band will tunnel through the depletion region and it will reach the conduction band of the n-type semiconductor. This process is known as electron tunneling. So this area will be very less. This will happen only for a heavily doped p-n junction with a narrow depletion region. Electron tunneling happens. Electron tunneling means electrons in the valence band of the p-type semiconductor, which are the minority charge carriers that you have to think, will cross the depletion region or tunnel through the depletion region and will reach the many vacant spaces, many empty states in the conduction band of the n side. So due to this process, electron moves from p to n, and the current will be moving from n to p in the opposite direction. So the current direction is from n to p side. So these are the points to be remembered. Heavily doped p-n junction with narrow depletion region. When reverse bias, electric field increases. So the electrons from the valence band of the p side, this process will pull the electrons from the valence band of the p side to the conduction band of n side. So electron hole pairs are formed across the depletion region. Large number of minority carriers will be present in the depletion region. At this point, small rise in reverse voltage will cause large current. The direction of current is from n to p side. So this process has been shown here. Due to reverse bias, a large number of empty conduction band on n side align with valence band of p side. That can be seen here. See here, valence band and this one. This is the normal equilibrium condition. It is like this. Okay. So when this reverse bias is increased, this is at equilibrium. Both the Fermi levels are aligned. There is a little gap between valence band of p and conduction band of n. So what will happen if the reverse bias increased? Electric field will increase and there will be a sharp change in the sharp band bending will happen. So the valence band and the conduction band will align in the same line almost. It will be an opposite to each other. So electrons in the valence band of the p side will tunnel and reaches the conduction band of the n side. That can be seen here. That process has been shown here. The distance between these two is mentioned as d, and w is the width of the depletion region. So due to reverse bias, a large number of empty conduction band on n side align with valence band of p side. If the barrier is small, barrier means this depletion region is small, then the electrons from p side tunnel to n side. This tunneling effect is called Zener effect. Due to this, Zener breakdown happens. Due to this, there will be a sudden rise in current. That current direction is from n to p. Okay. So the basic requirement for tunneling current are, some points has to be, these all requirements are the requirements, then only this tunneling process happens. So what are they? First one, a large number of electrons separated from a large number of empty states by a narrow barrier of finite height. So understood, the valence band, there should be many electrons in the p side valence band and there should be many empty states in the n side conduction band. Both should be separated by a narrow barrier of finite height. Second one, tunneling probability depends upon the width of the barrier. It is important that metallurgical junction be sharp and the doping is high. So the transition region W extends only a short distance from each side of the junction. So what and all things? The width of the barrier W should be, this tunneling process depends on the width of the barrier. So the metallurgical junction should be sharp. That band bending should be sharp and doping should be high. Transition width W extends only a very short distance from each side of the junction. For this purpose, the PN junction should be heavily doped. If the junction is not abrupt or if either side of the junction is lightly doped, the transition region W will be too wide for tunneling. So if the junction is not, the slope is not that much abrupt and this is lightly doped, then the tunneling process won't happen because the width of the depletion region will be more. So tunneling process is not happening. Tunneling process, in order to happen the tunneling process, the distance D should be very less. At low voltages, the depletion width does not change too much with reverse bias. So I have told Zener effect will happen at low reverse voltages. In the simple covalent bonding model, the Zener effect can be thought as field ionization of the host atoms at the junction. Next we will see avalanche breakdown. Avalanche breakdown is also known as impact ionization, whereas Zener diode is known as field ionization. That means this electron hole pair is forming within the covalent bond. Within the electrons will be excited from the covalent bonding of the same atom. So if there is no hitting and releasing of the atom, collision process and all not there, the electrons from the PN junction, in the case of PN junction, okay, I will tell you. Here this is the p-type valence band, p-type conduction band, p-type valence band. So the impact ionization will be happening here. That means the covalent, the electrons will be excited or came from the covalent bonding of the atoms present in the valence band here, right? So this is field ionization. Is thought of as a field ionization. Is thought as field ionization of the host atoms at the junction. At critical field strength E, electrons participating in covalent bonds may be drawn from the bonds by the field and accelerated to n side of the junction. So at a particular electric field E, electrons which has been participating in the covalent bonds will be excited or torn from the bond. It is now which was in the covalent bond, that will be torn out from the bond by the field and accelerated to the n side of the junction. From the P, that will move to the n side of the junction. The electric field required for this type of ionization is of the order of 10 raised to 6 volt per centimeter. Next, if Zener diode or tunneling process does not take place, then avalanche breakdown will take place at higher reverse bias. One more point. So when does Zener breakdown not happen? So the failure to attain high doping or sharp junction will result in no tunneling effect. So I told you the two important points to be remembered is the PN junction should be, P and N type material should be heavily doped, first point. Second one, there would be sharp junction or the slope should be, the slope which we are considering should be very sharp, then only tunneling process happens. These are the 2 points that has to be in mind under Zener breakdown. The next one is avalanche breakdown. So at low voltages for a heavily doped PN junction, Zener breakdown happens, and for higher reverse bias voltages for a lightly doped PN junction, avalanche breakdown will happen. So in a lightly doped junction, the tunneling is negligible due to the large distance between the bands. So the breakdown mechanism involves the impact ionization of host atoms by energetic carriers. So in that case, the ionization is known as impact ionization, and it is happening by the ionization means collision between the carriers within the host atom. So the impact ionization of host atoms by energetic carriers due to collision of electrons or holes within the host atom. So normal lattice scattering can cause the creation of electron hole pair if the carrier being scattered has sufficient energy. So when an electron or hole will get hit with another electron hole here electron hole pairs will be created if this electron is having sufficient energy. These single event scattering interaction are results in carrier multiplication. Like this, hitting will continue, collision process will continue, and generation of carriers will happen. So carrier multiplication will happen, electron hole pair creation will happen. Large number of electron hole pairs or electrons or holes are generated, which are the minority charge carriers, and due to that current will be that will cause the reverse current in the case of avalanche breakdown. So when electron scatters, it creates an electron hole pair. So due to this scattering, electron hole pair will be generated. So each of these carrier has a chance to be accelerated and collide with the lattice, creating a new electron hole pair. So one electron hit with the lattice, create an electron hole pair. So there will be a chance of again hitting and again creating an electron hole pair, again collision, again creation of electron hole pair. So due to this, large number of electron hole pairs will be generated. This process may continue and is referred to as avalanche breakdown. So the continuation of this process will So see this figure. Here you can see a PN junction, and the figure shows electron hole pairs created by impact ionization or avalanche multiplication process. So the figure shows a band diagram of a PN junction in reverse bias, showing a primary electron gaining kinetic energy in the field of the depletion region and creating a secondary electron hole pair by impact ionization. The primary electron losing most of its kinetic energy in this process. So you can see here, this is the electron which had enough kinetic energy, and it got hit to the lattice structure and it lost its kinetic energy and it created an electron hole pair. So the initial electron and the created electron will go to the N side and the hole will move to the P side. So this has been shown in this figure. Once again, see here, an electron has been got a sufficient kinetic energy. It hit with the lattice and it made generated an electron hole pair. Okay, so the first initial electron and the formed electron will move to the N side and the created hole will move to the P side. So this electron will lose its kinetic energy and it will go. So that has been shown in this first figure. So this figure, in the second figure, now you can see a single ionizing collision by an incoming electron in the depletion region of the junction, and the third figure you can see primary, secondary and tertiary collision. So same thing, you can see a PN junction separated by depletion region W. So an electron in the P side, a minority charge carrier electron in the P side, will gain sufficient energy due to this electric field E, and it will hit with the lattice and form an electron hole pair. So the initial electron and the newly formed electron will move to the N side, and the hole which is created now will move to the P side. That has been shown here. In the second figure, you can see this is the primary collision. In the second figure, you can see primary, secondary and tertiary collision. So initially one electron, it will hit with the lattice and form one electron hole pair. So the original electron and the newly formed electron will reach the N side and the hole will move to the P side. There it will hit with the lattice again and form an electron hole pair. So that hole and the newly created hole will move to the P side and the newly formed electron will move to the N side. There in the depletion region, again it will hit with the lattice and an electron hole pair is created, and the two electrons will be swiped to the N side and the hole will move to the P side. So see here, the original electron and the generated electron are both swept to the N side of the junction, and the generated holes is swept to the P side. Okay, the degree of multiplication can become very high if the carriers generated within the transition region also have ionizing collision with the lattice. The second case, For example, an incoming electron may have a collision with the lattice and create an electron hole pair. Each of these carrier has a chance of creating a new electron hole pair, and each of those can also create an electron hole pair, and so forth. Like this, carrier multiplication will happen. We can make an approximate analysis of avalanche multiplication by assuming that a carrier of either type, both electron and hole, has a probability P of having a ionizing collision with the lattice while being accelerated a distance W through the transition region. When a minority charge carrier in the P region, either electron or in the case of this one n-type material, a hole, if we are assuming these electrons or holes have a probability of collision P, both are having a probability of collision P, and when being accelerated at a distance W through the transition region, what will happen? We are going to analyze it. So suppose we have n in number of electrons entering from the P side. Okay, so if this n in electron is having equal probability P of being colliding with the crystal lattice, then there will be P into n in, there will be P into n in collisions, ionizing collisions, and an electron hole pair for each collision. So each collision will result in one electron hole pair. We have n in number of electrons entering from the P side, and at the depletion region, if it is colliding with the crystal lattice and the probability of collision is P, then there will be P into n in number of collisions. So each of these collisions will result in the formation of one electron hole pair. Okay, after the Pn in collision, after the Pn in collisions by the primary electron, we have how many electrons? The original n in electrons and P into n in electrons. So we can write it as n in into 1 plus P, right? So once again I'll repeat, we have n in number of electrons, we have n in number of electrons, each having a probability, n in number of electrons, each having a probability P. So there will be P into n in number of collision. After collision, each P into n in collisions will result in P into n in electron hole pairs. So how many number of electrons will be there after this primary collision? Initial n in will be there, initial n in will be there, plus P into n in. So we can write it as n in into 1 plus P. So that can be seen here. That can be seen here. So there will be n in into 1 plus P number of secondary electrons. So after a collision, each electron hole pair moves in effectively a distance of W within the transition region. So if an electron hole pair is created at the center of the region, okay, so the electron drifts a distance W by 2 to the N side and a hole W by 2 to the P side. Thus the probability that an ionizing collision will occur due to the motion of secondary carrier is still P in this simplified model. So we have now n in into P secondary pairs. There will be okay, so for n in into P secondary pairs, there will be again n in into P ionizing collisions, and due to that we have n in into P square collisions and tertiary pairs. So we have the third pair n in into P square. So summing up these all things, summing up the total number of electrons out of the region at n after many collisions, we can write it as n out. One second. We can write it as n out is equal to n in into 1 plus P plus p square plus p cube plus etc. So n out is equal to n in into 1 plus p square plus p cube plus etc. So we can write the carrier multiplication, one term I am telling, the electron multiplication or carrier multiplication Mn is nothing but n out by n in. Now how many electrons reaches the n region divided by how many electrons entered from the p region, n out by n in. So if I am writing it from this equation, it will be 1 by p plus p square plus p cube plus etc. That has been written as 1 by 1 minus p. That is nothing but 1 by 1 minus p. This is known as carrier multiplication. Mn is known as carrier multiplication or electron multiplication factor. So as the probability P of ionization increases, the carrier multiplication increases. So as the minority charge carriers increases, the drift current will increase. So this current is limited by the external circuit. So large number of current will flow in this case, and this current is limited by the external resistance connected, known as current limiting resistance. So one more formula, this before we equation which we have given is an analytical approach. So the proper equation for carrier multiplication is given by m is equal to 1 divided by 1 minus v by VBR whole raised to n. So where VBR is known as junction reverse breakdown voltage, and n is a value whose value varies from 3 to 6 and is depending on the material used. So the empirical equation for carrier multiplication or electron multiplication factor is given by 1 divided by 1 minus V by VBR whole raised to n, where n is a material dependent value whose value varies from 3 to 6. The critical reverse voltage for breakdown increases with critical reverse voltage for breakdown increases with the band gap of the material, since more energy is required for an ionization collision. Okay, so this much about avalanche breakdown. So avalanche breakdown is also known as impact ionization, where Zener breakdown is known as field ionization. So in Zener breakdown, an electron will be torn out from the covalent bond due to the electric field, and it will be tunneling process will be happening from the valence band of the P region to the conduction band of the N region. So due to that, current will be flowing. That is known as Zener breakdown. That will be happening for a heavily doped PN junction, and it will normally happen at low voltages. So whereas avalanche breakdown, which will happens for lightly doped PN junction at very high reverse bias voltage, and here the process is known as impact ionization. Due to the electric field, electrons will have the sufficient kinetic energy. Minority charge carrier in the P region will have sufficient kinetic energy, and it will hit with the lattice structure, or collision process will happen. Due to that, another pair of electron hole pair will happen. So if this hitting process is happening within the depletion region, again this with the same probability further collisions will be there, and a large number of electron hole pairs will be created, and the current flowing due to this current produced due to this electron hole pair formation is known as avalanche current, and this breakdown mechanism is known as avalanche breakdown. It normally happens for a lightly doped PN junction at very high reverse bias voltage, say certain volts to thousands of volts. Okay.